Okay, really big story out of Ohio. March 15th, next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we have the Republican and Democratic primaries in Ohio. In December, Secretary of State John Husted issued a directive, and there wasn't much notice about it, although it changed the rules around whether 17-year-olds are allowed to vote in the presidential primary in Ohio. This is really, really important. The rule was, and has been for a while, that if you're going to be 18 years old on the day of the general election, right, in November 2016, that you can vote in the primary in spite of only being 17 years old. And the logic makes sense, right, Lewis? If you're going to have a say in November, then you should have a say in terms of who is on the ballot in November. You're not going to be more than a year away from your 18th birthday. That's the way it's been. John Husted has now issued a directive changing this, saying you're not really nominating, right? The rules are you're allowed to participate in the nomination process at age 17. John Husted says you're not really nominating when you vote in the primary. You are actually electing delegates who then go to the convention and nominate. And this is a technicality, but it is of huge importance because the spirit of this is, yes, you are technically designating delegates to go and make the nomination, but really you're voting on the nomination of your party's candidate. This is, of course, huge for Bernie Sanders, who is depending on the young vote, particularly in a state like Ohio. So huge controversy, and Bernie Sanders is suing. Bernie Sanders is suing over this.
And he should. This is not a coincidence, right? I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I wouldn't call this conspiratorial. That this is a move to try and make sure that Hillary comes out with more votes. That's obviously what this is.
Meanwhile, 17-year-olds in Ohio should go ahead and vote. I mean, show up on Tuesday because your votes may well end up getting validated by the courts after the fact. You will be given a paper ballot. It will be treated as provisional until this is all settled. So if you're a 17-year-old in Ohio and you've heard about the rule change, go and vote whoever you're voting for, right? I mean, you will likely be allowed to vote if this ends up going the way that those in favor of increasing voter turnout want this to go. You will be given a paper ballot. It will be provisional, and this is going to be worked out. By the way, the state Secretary of State's website hasn't even been updated. It still says if you will be 18 on or before the day of the general election, then you can vote in the primary. That's still what it says. Show up with a printout of that.
Yeah. Right now, it seems like it's just, I guess it hasn't been enacted yet. So, sure, show up.
Gamefly is sort of like Netflix for video games. They have over 8,000 new and classic games for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, and a bunch of other platforms. And you can play as many games as you want for one monthly fee. And if you find some games you want to keep, you can buy them for a low used price. There's never any due dates or late fees. And our audience can get a free 30-day trial at gameflyoffer.com/TDPS. The games are shipped directly to you with return envelopes included. There's no contracts, and you can rent games through the mobile app. Get the free 30-day trial for the David Pakman Show audience and support our show by going to gameflyoffer.com/TDPS.